It's a great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld Today. I'm B-Ron. Alongside me for the morning, it's my co-host and good friend back in the booth with me, Yells. Good morning, man. Happy
Good
to have you back
morning.
here on the side with me.
Good morning, man. It is Ted. It is tough Tuesday.
yeah, yeah,
Tough
yeah,
Tuesday.
yeah. Tough-ish Tuesday. Everybody kind of going through it. But look, we got a good show for y'all. Let's go ahead and let's jump right into the aftermath of the Super Bowl in the SWFL. As we mentioned, Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs ended up coming out on top in that game on Sunday, and there's a lot of conversation now. He's made a bunch of crazy highlight plays throughout his career, that kind of stuff. But and you're seeing some of them here. But I mean, the question now, comes to mind of is he coming for Brady's status as the GOAT, that GOAT spot? I think there's only a few people who are in that GOAT conversation. And with Pat Mahomes playing the way he is right now, with the amount of success he's had over the last couple of years in the league at 28 years old now, you know, is he coming for Brady's GOAT spot? And if he is, do you think he's gonna get there and have that success that Brady had?
That's a good. So let me ask this. I think for me to answer this question, I have to ask a question back. What do
Yeah.
we define as Tom Brady's success?
When people talk about Tom Brady, his success, I think for a lot of people, they go to the awards, the championship, the Super Bowl championships, the MVP awards, the Player of the Year awards, that sort of stuff. That's what I think people go to. Um, I I tend to not put as much focus on rings and that kind of thing than most people do, because to me, Super Bowl championships in general are more of a team success thing than an individual success thing.
No, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that.
I think ring culture is a problem, is what I'm saying.
No, I can agree with that. I think yeah, I think he's approaching that. I think there was a really good podcast on the other day, and I was actually talking to my man Siege about it, and it
Mhm.
was Gilbert Arenas' podcast. And on this podcast, he talked about the difference between an all star and a superstar. An all star can be, you know, they can be great one year, but they could not be the following year. But a superstar transcends a league. A superstar transcends a sport to the point where they're a saying, so to speak. A LeBron
Yeah.
James is a superstar. Jalen Brown, and I know we're going to get into some of that later. He's an all star. He's really good. He's an all star though, and I reference that to say Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, they are the icons of a sport. When Tom Brady plays, oh, he's going to Tom Brady you. Oh, you're going to get Tom Brady. Of course it was Tom Brady. Never count out Tom Brady.
Mhm.
Never bet against Tom Brady. So that's what we're hearing now, Patrick Mahomes. It's a team sport, right? But listen, look, I'm not gonna say anything about how the Super Bowl played out. But late in that game, some calls went some ways, right? There's a lot of
Mhm.
fanfare behind a particular team. You could try and create a story behind hardball you want and all that, but there's a lot of fanfare behind a very particular team. Yeah, you could say Travis Kelsey and T Swift Nation and all that, but Patrick Mahomes is the story on the field, and he's always going to be the story on the field. So when you couple that with his play, you couple that with his success, and which drives his star status. I think that's what puts him in that upper echelon with a Tom Brady because he's accomplished so much so quickly in repetition, and then you backdoor that with the fact that he is now a football verb. Oh, you got Mahomes, or you know what I mean? Don't get
Yeah.
Mahomes inside
Hmm.
Mahomes. That's gonna lend itself to him getting more favorable outcomes. I'm not leaning into the rigging of games or nothing, but realistically, that's how things work sport wise when it comes to refereeing calls, how people are viewed, and all that. So I think he's right there. And before I hand it back to you, I made a comment yesterday, and I say it wholeheartedly, and it's not even based on football. If I add the football in, I feel even more comfortable saying it. He's the kind of player you have to build a team around continuously. So
Yeah.
even though the Chiefs weren't as good as they've been, they didn't have a receiving core like they had in the past this year. They will rebuild that. They just won the Super Bowl. They're going to make sure that he has what he needs to be a dynasty. So I see him winning 3 more championships in the next 5 years, and you
Yeah,
can mark that
he's
down.
got he's got 3 in the last 6 already, which is crazy. But you look at some of the things that you know that Tom Brady's done. For example, 15 Pro Bowls, 251 wins, 5 Super Bowl MVP awards. The dude has all the accolades in the world, and that's not even all of them, and then some. Mahomes is, pretty much he's on a good track to get to that level uh right now. You mentioned putting a team around him and that kind of thing, and I think a lot of people said this season was around Mahomes there wasn't a whole lot there.
The worst team he's
And
had.
yeah, and the same can be said for Tom Brady in some respects too. When you really look at some of those teams he had prior to Randy Moss coming there and a lot of those guys, he had Deion Branch. Deion Branch was a fine player, of course, but he wasn't on the level of someone like a Randy Moss. And even Randy Moss when he got there wasn't the same person he was, but he was still able to play at a very high level.
Yeah, he
So
he
I
absolutely
think
elevated a lot of receivers. To be
yeah,
honest,
but I think that both him and Mahomes had maybe very the same levels around them anyway of receiver help, that kind of thing. But I think the best thing about players like Brady and Mahomes is that they can make it work. And we use it in wrestling a lot. A good wrestler, their character or whatever, they can make it work regardless of what it is, and they are usually sometimes considered the best when they can do those sorts of things, make it work with what you have around you. But let's
look.
keep it
Before
moving.
you move on,
Yeah,
real quick, B.
yeah,
Ron,
yeah,
widely
yeah.
considered the best receivers, depending on or quarterbacks, depending on what generation you're from. Uh, Tom Brady, Joe Montana for the old heads. Really, they always bring him up. Joe Montana.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, Tom Brady, if you don't go by ring culture, like you said, 31 postseason victories. Joe Montana, 16. Patrick Mahomes is, what is he, 26, 28?
He's 28.
28. He already
Yep.
has 16, excuse me, 15 post game victory, post season victories. So he's already right there in the top 2 status.
Yeah. Jeez. It's insane, man. Insanity. Well, look, let's talk some SWBA, shall we? The power rankings for that came out with a new week around them, and the Celtics are back in that number 1 spot. They were number 2 last week, and they're now back up to number 1 here. Just want to kind of maybe go through some of these rankings here and get some reactions on them. The Clippers dropped 1 spot from one to 2. The Cavaliers, they went up. They went up. They went up 3 spots. Sorry, from 6 to 3. Uh, Nuggets dropped 1 spot. They're down to 4 at being 3 last week, and the T Wolves are down from 4 to 5. I'm not gonna go through all these obviously, but the big jump was the Mavericks. They went up from they went up. What's that? They were 14 last. They jumped to number 7. That's an insane jump for them. Is there any objection to these power rankings here right now, or you want to talk about the Celtics in particular? We can. I know that was the part of the package there, but any thoughts on the power rankings overall?
I have thoughts, lots of thoughts. I don't know if the fans are going to want to hear that. I don't even know if they're going to be relevant, but I still stand beside. How? What the hell? The Cavs in the top 5 of a foul. How does it happen for the Cavaliers to be in the top 5 of a power ranking with no one named LeBron on the team? The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Knicks and the Oklahoma City Thunder. What world are we living in?
It
That
feels weird,
is,
doesn't it? It
I,
feels weird.
oh, I
It
just
feels weird,
I just
but
watched
like,
I just watched the
But
Knicks lose last night to my Rockets. First Houston victory of any sport that I've ever been able to attend live. I think they're like 80-0, all Texas sports when I'm in attendance. So I saw the first victory. The Knicks lost that game, and they had, I believe, 18 turnovers. That's your number 5 team. And there
geez,
was a lot of ISO ball. The basketball, you know what I'm saying? That's why I get super invested in SimWorld Prep. Basketball, the SWBA is tough to watch for me at times because
hmm
there's not parity. Every team plays the same. They have the same style, except for some of them have better players doing it, and all of them are trying to be the old Steph Curry Warriors. The Cavaliers pretty good. Boston Celtics. I mean, I'm sitting here looking. Boston Celtics. They lead the league in rebounds per game. They lead the league in blocks per game. And to me, when I watch them, they're not a defensive team. Not by my standard, but by today's standard, sure they are. They're fifth in the league at 120 points is only good for number 5 in the league. So those are all some really good standings. And then lastly, this is today's NBA. They lead the league by a wide margin in 3-pointers made. So it makes sense for them to be at the top. They've lost some games, but before I get off my soapboxes, I know we're already there. Power rankings, NBA rankings, regular season rankings, they really have no credence for me because every team is playing the same exact game in the
hmm
regular season, and then they really kind of get more into their identities as the playoffs roll in. So when you look at power rankings, they're based on day to day, week to week, month to month results. Did you beat this team? Did you beat that team? But if everybody's playing the same style, somebody just may have had an off night or a hot night and won that game. So that really doesn't dictate if you're better than a team or not for me. It really shakes out in the overall rating or excuse me, standing at the end of the season. So I really don't put
hmm
much credence in the power rankings anymore because everybody's doing the same damn thing and anybody can get hot on any night and anybody can beat another team. If every team's just running out there playing no defense and putting up as many threes as they can, how do you tell who's a better team?
Yeah, fair enough. Not gonna, I think some people might share a similar mindset when it comes to similar prep power rankings too. But we're not gonna talk about that. We are gonna talk about similar prep though because there was some comments made yesterday from Cole Webb, during some hype for their game tonight
So thunder
between
from down
Showtime
under.
and Cascadia. Yeah, he had a lot to say, but one of the big takeaways from that was, you know, basically said, "Hey, look, I'm gonna go out and drop 30 points on on
Keelan
on
Jackson.
Kevon Jackson and Cascadia." He said that yesterday on Take It As You Will. So I'm looking forward to seeing will Kevon respond, and I want to know how many points the two will combine for, or even if you think Cole Webb will go out there and put 30 points up on Kevon Jackson. Because
Yeah,
if he's putting up 30, then Kevon might go out there and put up 30 or something comparable to. We might be looking at a combined 60 points between those two on opposite sides.
it's possible. It's possible. I'll tell you this: Cole Webb's going to put the shots up, and Cascadia has not been much of a defensive team in the first place. They go out and they get their buckets. They lead the league in points per game at 76.6. So they're going to get theirs for sure, but they're not dedicated to stopping anyone. On the other side, I know Cole Webb is a great offensive threat, but Showtime has not looked great in moments defensively either. And Kevon Jackson is just an absolute terror on the pick and roll. You get him on the pick and roll with anyone else on the other side, and he's speeding past him, and he's
Yep.
crowning there. You know what? So yeah, I look forward to that matchup, and I like the moxie. I like to talk. Get that game started for everybody. Cole Webb, we will be tuned in. Thank you.
Yeah, that game will not be streamed on SimWorld TV tonight, but look forward to seeing the box score and all that stuff
Sure.
as well. But look, we're gonna get out of here, you guys. Thank you for joining us as
Oh,
always here. I know, we're out of time, man. We're out of time.
well, it was good to be back.
Thank you. Thank you, Yells, for coming back. I appreciate you, man. And remember, guys, hit the like button. Look, one like equals one more time Yells returns to the show, perhaps.
Maybe, maybe.
Look, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you know when all our videos and stuff go live for you all. And remember, guys, SimWorld's the only place where you can see the game, be the game. We'll see you tomorrow.
This has been a presentation of SimWorld Sports.